it's Angie. Welcome back to my channel, Angie the Craftnado, where I do all kinds of crafts. Today is going to be my Flosstube number 2. And as you can hear by the sound of my voice, I am still battling this yucky illness that nobody in my family can seem to get rid of. We just seem to be passing it back and forth between each other. So I'm glad it's been about 2 weeks since I've seen you with some cross-stitchy goodness. So today I'm going to talk to you about my progress that I've made on the whips that the ones that I worked on that I showed you in my first video, my first Flosstube video. And I'm also going to show you some acquisitions that I have acquired and also some new starts, because Angie's always got new starts. So some of the new starts are new acquisitions. Some of the starts are stuff that I had in my stash. So let's get to it. I'm not sure what order is the proper order to do this in. Let's start with progress. That sounds good. All right, so I worked mainly on, let's see, 1, 2, 3. I worked mainly on 4 or 5 different projects that I had going already since last time I saw you. I made quite a bit of progress on my Riolis pillow. That would be this one. I've got it in my frame right now. It's in a Nerge frame. I love these Nerge frames. I know a lot of people don't care for them, but I absolutely love them because you can get it nice and tight, and it actually, this pattern recommends that you use a square frame. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure if it's because it's a square pillow or what, but that's what they recommend. Anywho, I got a lot of progress done since last I saw you, probably from, I'd say from here over. I've done all of that. So I don't know, maybe like 10-15 hours worth of work. You know, not bad when you consider that not only have I been cross-stitching, but I've also been crocheting. I started my knitting classes last week I started my knitting classes, so I've been knitting as well. And I've also been, I've actually been diamond painting quite a bit lately too. In addition to the fact that last week I started cleaning out my craft room, which is something I've been promising I was going to do for years. Oh, I'm in a different spot today. I'm in the front room today, and please forgive my horrible appearance. It's early, and today's Friday, and today starts the weekend of my birthday festivities. So my sisters and my mom have something fun planned for me tonight, or this afternoon. So I've got to get all my business done early in the day so I can get ready to go do whatever it is we're going to do. But I just thought I'd show you our beautiful snowfall out there, but now I can see that it's not a very pretty view. You can just see our telephone pole out there. I thought you'd be able to see the apple tree. I've had some really nice cardinals, really beautiful cardinals hanging out on the apple tree, and I thought that would be a nice background, but now I see that you can't really see much besides white, so apologies. Okay, my other Riolis kit, I've been working on that as well. Not sure how much progress I had done last time I showed you, but that would be this one, this Riolis pillow. I'm loving stitching on this. You know, the one thing that's a little bit confusing about it, and it's just, and I could make it less confusing on myself, but I'm afraid by trying to make it less confusing, I would make it more confusing, and hopefully I can explain to you what I mean by that. Okay, so you see how this rose is right side up at the top of the pillow, but at the bottom of the pillow, it's upside down. Do you see what I'm saying? Like this motif is sideways. It's like oriented to the side of the pillow that it's on. So when I'm working, this was fine because I was working it right side up, but then I got to here and I was working it upside down, and I'm thinking, well, this is kind of confusing, which I could just turn my whole work upside down and then be working right side up, right? I mean, that would make sense. But then I feel like then I'd have to be constantly reminding myself that I'm working upside down, so it's better, I think I'm better just to tough it out. But this is how far I've gotten on this one. Here, let me hold it up because the light coming in through the window is shining through. So I've gotten quite a bit done on this too, and it is looking good. I really think I'm going to love this one, and I think this one I'm going to keep for myself. I think I'll finish this pillow and keep it for myself. And I gotta apologize also, I know I'm the queen of apologies today, for my dogs, because it seems like whenever I turn my camera on to make a video, they decide they want to play fight. So that's what they're doing. Hey, 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 Boduk. No. Stop. All right, let me just tenderly put these in their package so that I don't have a, because when I was done last time, I had such a giant mess because I was just shoving everything to the side. I think I learned my lesson. Okay, so the next one that I've been working on quite a bit is a project that I didn't even get a chance to show you last time because I plumb forgot that I even had it. It has been years since I worked on it, and I love, love, love it. And I'm so glad that I found it as I was cleaning out my craft room. So anyways, yeah, I spent all week last week cleaning out my craft room. My friends Jennifer and Sarah came over every day but one, and we totally gutted that thing and we're getting it organized. I'm sorry, I'm just taking this out of the hoop. I'm just trying to do it carefully because the linen that this is stitched on, it's stitched on 36 count lakeside linen, and I think the country is, or the color is vintage or something like that. So this is what the project is. It's called Enya. It's from the Flourish series by Sampler Cove. And I know that this is available on European Cross Stitch. It might be available on 123 Stitch, I'm not sure. But isn't that gorgeous? And I am stitching it in the Called For Gloriana flosses, which are the Gloriana silks, which I'm going to show them to you because I love, love, love stitching with silk. It's my favorite. So it's red clay, which is this one that has some golds and brown hues in it, and antique dark gold, which is exactly how it sounds, antique dark gold. So there's actually spots throughout these, both of these, where some of the same colors are in play. So they really meld nicely together. And I'm really liking it. And so I'll just show you my progress so far on that. So I've gotten quite a bit, I mean, not bad progress really. I did not have, I want to say this past week when I picked it up, well, I started working on it probably Friday night, and I didn't have, well, anything that you see in red is what I've done. The gold was there, the curly cues, but any of the red leafing in that, I did all of that this past week. So that was quite a bit of work on 36 count because I'm doing it, you know, one strand over two on 36 count. I'm loving that project. And originally when I had started it years ago, it was going to be a gift for my mother-in-law. Well, now that I'm making that pillow for my mother-in-law, I'm thinking, I love this so much. I think I might keep it for myself. Or I bought accidentally twice the amount of Gloriana silk that I needed for that. I'm thinking I might just stitch it again because I like it so much. I love those. I love patterns, you know what I mean? I love stitching things with patterns, and that fits nicely into that category. The other one that I've been making some progress on, albeit not as much progress, but some progress, is my Moons Out, Brooms Out, which is the Autumn Lane Stitchery. And I am stitching this on Under the Sea fabric, 28 count, I believe. And the only thing that is different from when I showed it to you last time is that I've filled in some of the letters. So I've got some of the letters filled in. I had the part of the broom in her hat and the buildings down here. I had those done before, but I had the background part of the letters done, but I filled in the orange and yellow on the letters this week. So I did work on that a little bit. This is the one, I think I took this when I worked on, I had to take Nate out of town last Saturday. And I just took myself to Panera Bread and got a seat and sat there and went to town. The other one I've been working on is my lovely autumn Quakers. So everyone knows autumn Quakers from Rosewood Manor. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful work. I'm stitching this on, picture this, plus 28 count? Yep, 28 count in doubloon, using the called for, and in fact the little kit of Valdani floss that came with it. And I've also got this one still in its frame because I've been working on it. Let me take it out so I can show you. And that's probably better. I have a really bad habit of leaving things in their hoops or their frames, and I know that's not such a great idea when you're not working on them. I know it can, but you know, I'm not big on craft shaming, and you do what you got to do. If I'm not going to be big on craft shaming other people, I should not craft shame myself, right? It's my project. If I want to leave it sitting in the frame and getting all googly moogly, let me do it. So I'll tell you exactly what I got done this week is this motif right here. So I did this motif, and then I'm starting down here on the next one. And that is what I've gotten done on that. Love, love, love my Quakers. Love Rosewood Manor, the Quakers. And as I mentioned, I want to do the whole set of seasons. So eventually, but we'll see how long it takes. And I do enjoy the Valdani floss. I mentioned this before that it seems a bit rustic. I used the word rustic, and because it's 3 strands, and the pattern calls for you to not separate those 3 strands and to work all 3 strands together, which does give it a nice bulky looking stitch. But what I found is using a size 26 needle, it was really breaking, the needle was really shredding my floss. So I moved up, and I know that this is probably a bit, you know, not the best advice, but I'm using a size 24 needle because I was just ripping through my threads with the 26 needle. And it's working a lot better. And I don't have big holes. You know, it's not leaving big holes on my fabric or anything. As you can see, I mean, it looks fine. Probably because that big plump 3 strands is filling up those holes that the needle would normally have left, right? Ay, ay, ay. Okay, so now let's talk about a few, I guess they're new starts. These are not new acquisitions, but they're new starts. This is stuff I had in my stash that I came across when we were cleaning, and I decided I couldn't resist. So the first one is this awesome kit that I had from Owl Forest Embroidery, and I've had it for years, and I can't believe I didn't start it before now. But I think his name is the Mushroom King, but that's what he looks like. Oh, Father Mushroom, that's what it is, Father Mushroom. I just love him. So I started stitching this, and you know, this little kit comes with your floss and your thread, and it's hand-dyed floss. It comes on these cute little guys, right? So I started stitching it on the fabric that came with it, which is, I believe, a 28 count linen. It doesn't give me a brand or anything in the pamphlet that came with it. I can just tell by looking at it that it's a 28 count linen. But I did not care for the way that that particular color of his face and body did not stand out against the background of the, you know, the color of the fabric. So I thought, well, I'm going to see if I have a different piece of fabric that I could use. So I started it on this piece of just leftover lay around fabric I got. I'm sure it's some kind of picture of this. Plus, I'm sure I think it's an even weave. And I started it on this, and I got so far as just the little snail and corner motif. But you know, I don't love it on this either. I don't love it on this either because you can't see the snail. So I thought to myself, I said, self, take a look at the pattern or at the picture again. Let's see, is there a picture on here? No, that's just tells you how you can. Let's see if it's on here. I took a look at the picture again, and I decided that, well, I guess the only picture's on here. I decided that by the time all of the stuff gets around him, like his hat and his staff and his beard and the ground that he's standing on, and the border around it, by the time all of that stuff gets around him, it's gonna look fine that he's kind of the same color as, that his face is kind of the same color as the background. And I suppose I could even backstitch around the shape of his face with kind of a little bit darker of a flesh color if I wanted to kind of accentuate the fact that that's his face. But I think, you know, with gnomes, they're kind of supposed to be a little bit mysterious, right? I mean, they're kind of supposed to be a little bit like, you know, you can't really see them. And I think, I can't remember who it was giving me the skinny on forest creatures. And I think it's gnomes are the guys whose hats cover their eyes and they don't have eyes. But the guys who you can see their eyes, which is this guy, I think they're called gronks. Somebody can correct me in the comments. But they got a different name. They got a different name. And I find, you guys, that I do this a lot. I like sample different material. I'm not a very confident stitcher in my like color selections. And so I'll frequently like start things more than once. It's annoying. All right, and then I also started this. I had gotten on eBay a while back some vintage, hey, dogs, stop. I am so sorry. I had gotten, stop it. I had gotten some vintage kits. And so I started this one just because I wanted something simple and laid back. It is, I got it on Etsy, some vintage kits. This is the Fanny Osborne sampler from Schoolroom Samplings. And this was a kit from 1987. And it came with, you know, the floss and the fabric. So I figured, you know, why not give it a go? So this is what I've gotten done so far, which is quite a bit, I think. I mean, but it's easy stitching, you know, I mean, it's all just block stitching. So this was nice to just sit there and watch a TV show and just stitch, 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 stitch. So yeah, I got that done. So this will be a good mindless stitch for when I just want to veg out. Then I had purchased this, I had purchased the pattern and fabric for this at a retreat 2 years ago. And I thought, well, that's just silly that I've got it sitting here. And I loved it so much that I had to have it. And I've got everything. I mean, I bought the floss for it. I had everything sitting here in the bag ready to go. You can see I just started on these though, because I don't even have them in project bags. I just kind of grabbed them and wanted to, you know, I squirreled. I found a new shiny thing and I had to touch it and start it and put stitches in it real quick. Now this one is kind of comical because I put very, very little stitches in it. But this is called Pretty Pumpkins, and it is by Glendon Place. And isn't that just gorgeous? And I think what really hits me on this one more than anything is the way that this was matted when it was framed on the model stitch. I think that, like, can you imagine how much that would cost though to have that framed matted like that? Woo-wee! I would not want to see that framing bill. For sure. But still, it's still a gorgeous piece. It's still, I really, really, really like the designs in the stems. It's going to be kind of a pain in the butt to stitch, but it's going to be really cool looking. And I'm an absolute sucker for paisley, child of the 80s here. I love paisley. Love me some paisley. Reminds me of my boy Prince, or the artist formerly known as Prince. No, I think he was Prince by the time he passed. So I'm stitching this on 32 count through the stones by Fortnite Fabric, and it's a great color. It's going to be perfect with this, and I've gotten exactly that many stitches done, which is not very many. I don't like to do a center start. If I can at all help it, I will never do a center start. I hate them. I hate them with all of my passion of my being. But with this, with it being, you know, not a square pattern, and I only have a fat quarter here, I did not want to risk it, so I'm doing a center start. What was I going to say about this? Oh, the other thing I like about this is those leaves. The variegation in the leaves, I think, is so beautiful. And I'm so sorry my hands are shaking a little bit today. I don't know what that's all about. And I'm so sorry that I keep apologizing. I'm going to stop doing that. Screw ya. No, I'm just kidding. All right, my other one that was in my stash that I stitched. Now, this isn't a new start, but I forgot I had it. And I haven't stitched on it in a long, 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 long time. But I did put some stitches in. Let me pop it out of the frame. Nope, I'm not stuck. Is my Mirabilia, my one and only Mirabilia, the Christmas Elf Fairy. She's just so cute. She reminds me of my oldest daughter. My oldest daughter was a very graceful dancer. And the way she's on her toes like that just reminds me of a dancer. And so this is my progress on the Christmas Elf Fairy. Not bad, not bad, not bad. Now this one is kind of cool because it does, in her dress, we've got some of this whisper floss. So it's the, you know, the fuzzy floss. So I think on the cuffs of her coat, let's see. Yeah, on the cuffs of her coat, on the bottom of her coat, and then around the top of her hat is going to get that whisper floss. And then, of course, because it's a Mirabilia, we do have Krennic and beads. So, not too many, just a couple different kinds of beads and a couple different Krennics. And then I am using the called for flosses, which are all, I think they're all Classic Colorworks and DMC. Might be a little bit of DMC and Krennic. Yeah, it looks like it's all Classic Colorworks. Yup. Okay, so that's that one. And that is the end of my progress. So really, honestly, I didn't do any stitching well, maybe in the evenings I did a little bit of stitching, like after we were done working for the night. So from last Friday until today, that's a lot of progress made, and especially when you consider that not only was I stitching, but I was also crocheting, knitting, and diamond painting. So I think I did pretty good. All right, so I have a few new acquisitions. I'm going to call them acquisitions because it doesn't make me feel as bad as purchases. So I picked up this new pattern, and it's black work. So it's technically not cross stitch, but it's still cool. I'm going to show you. It's called Dark Academia, and it's by Urban Stitches. And if you know anything about me, you know that I love skulls, and especially I love the combination of skulls and flowers. I just think it's a cool combination. I also got this from the Primitive Hair, Pumpkins Are Important. And I did also get this fabric that is a printed fabric to stitch it on, but I don't have any of the flosses because it calls for all hand-dyed flosses, Weeks Dye Works, and Gentle Arts sampler threads. So I'm gonna obviously, and we're out of season for that, so I'm not gonna do that one. I also love me some mushrooms. So So I picked up this guy from Sprouting Lupine. And this is a new pattern as well. It's called Festive Fungi. And I thought this would just be a fun little stitch. And I even thought that you could take those and stitch them separately and turn them into little ornaments, you know, little Christmas tree ornaments, like with a pillow, you know, puffy pillow back, which is probably what I'll do with this one. Then I got another one that has to do with mushrooms. And I also have the fabric that I think I'm going to use. So this one's called Femurs and Fungi. Love that. And that is by Fine Frog Stitching. Femurs and Fungi. And I just think it's so cute. It's skulls with mushrooms growing out of them. Adorable. Just adorbs. But, you know, and I would love to stitch this one because I don't think it'd take very long. But look at the number of TMCs on there. I just don't have, I mean, I do, but I don't feel like going and pulling them all. Plus, I don't need another thing started. But I think I'm going to stitch that because I really like the look of it stitched on this dark fabric. I think I'm going to stitch that on this, this Picture This Plus. I've got some Picture This Plus in Murky. And I think I'm going to stitch it on this. What do you guys think? You think that would look good? I think it'd look good. Oh yeah, I think that would look really good. So yeah, I found this piece. I'm just going to stick it back. So I just stuck it in there with that so I would know. So I would know that I had it. Because then you've got it, you know? That's from a show. It's from Arrested Development. I've watched that show. I rewatched the series again. I also got, I really want to do this. If anybody knows, and because I honestly don't know, if anybody knows where I can get this blanket, could you please tell me? Because I really, really, really want to stitch this for my granddaughters before next Christmas. So it's from Stony Creek Collection. It's book 377. It's called Snow Buddies Collector Series Afghan. And it says to use, well, I guess it does give you some options, but I thought it was telling me, I thought it told me on, oh, I guess I haven't opened up the book and looked yet. A model was stitched on an 18 count cream Abbey cloth Afghan. And I keep doing a Google search for Abbey cloth and I don't find anything big enough. Oh, yeah, I do that, and yeah, that is what I need because it is giving me some options down here for some other like thread counts and sizes, but that's for separate motifs. That's for if you wanted to like do like this towel separately or something. So I can't find Abbey cloth. I can't find 18 count Abbey cloth. And if anybody knows that if I'm missing something somewhere, and I'm sure it's real obvious, but I want to find it, or I want to find a good substitute. Now the thing you got to watch out for with this, because I have found, you know, big blanket pieces, but some of them have lines, like grid lines, to where like for like a baby thing where you're supposed to put like one thing per square, big square, if you know what I mean. Oh, anywho. Then I did, you know, I mentioned that I wanted to do all of the Quakers. So I did go ahead and pick up the Holiday Quaker. So, Holiday Quaker from Lila's Studio. Love, love, love. Because I'm working on Halloween Quaker. I showed you guys that one. I haven't done any work on it in this past week. That's why I didn't show it again to you, but I do have that as a work in progress. So I did grab Holiday Quaker so I can maybe, and I've got, I can't get the exact fabric that this was stitched on. I can't find it. the Dwarf by Picture This Plus. But I did find a really nice substitute on Seraphim website that I'm going to order, but I've got to wait for another payday for that because you know how that goes. Then I was at my local stitching shop and I ran across this cute little cutie. It's called Acorn Medley by the Sweetheart Tree, and it's its own little kit. And it's got some other stitches in there besides cross stitch. It's got some French knots and some back stitching and some oh, what is it? Satin stitches. And it's teeny. It's little. I'll show you because everything comes in the little kit. So this is as big as the piece of fabric linen is. So, and it has some beads. Got some beads in there. Who knows when I'll do that. It was just, I couldn't resist it. It was just such a little cutie sitting there. And it's old. I mean, it's not like anything new that came out. I looked at the year on there. It's quite a few years old. And then I had seen someone stitching a long dog sampler, and I don't remember which one it was, but they posted on Facebook and they were stitching it using a Mrs. Sadis silk called Oxide, and it looked so good. It looked so freaking phenomenal. I was like, gotta have that. So I placed my very first order to Mrs. Sadis, and I ordered me some Oxide, a full hank of Oxide silk. Now, is this gorgeous? Yes. It smells good. I mean, I don't know why I always have to smell things. Is it gorgeous? Yes. Does it look like what I thought it was going to look like? No. I don't want to say I'm disappointed because it's nice. It's nice silk and it's cool color, but it's not going to work for what I thought I was going to use it for. I thought it was going to be a little bit more browns and blues and a little bit less oranges and blues, if you know what I mean. And you know, I mean, it's batchy. Hand-dyed stuff is batchy. You know, you can't control what colors end up where when you do a hand-dyed batch of anything. So don't get me wrong, I'm not unhappy with it at all, but I'm not going to use it for what I thought I was going to use it for because unfortunately, oh crap, I don't have the piece of fabric. Because I was going to use it for a long dog sampler as well. Unfortunately, the piece of fabric that I want to use it on is very similar to this. It's kind of in fact, I think it's called Beach by Atomic Ranch. Is that what it's called? Atomic Ranch? Am I remembering that correctly? And I think the color's called Beach. And it's very similar to these colors. You know, it's the blue of the sea and the beige and yellow of the sand and the sun, the orange of the sun. And so I just don't know how great that's going to look. I think what I'll do is next time because I can't get out of this chair here and get over there because I'm stuffed in. Next time I do a video, I'll show you this and I'll show you the fabric that I'm thinking of using, and I'll get your opinion and let you know, or have you let me know what you think how it would look, because I'm terrible with colors. Like I said, I end up starting things a couple of times because I'm terrible with putting fabrics and flosses together. I suck at it. One other thing I was going to talk about, and this is kind of a question before I let you guys go, because this is kind of a short one today. I got through everything pretty fast. Okay, so when you are working with a hand-dyed and over-dyed floss, do you go, hold on a second, I'm just trying to get this to show you what I'm talking about. Do you go half, 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 come back and cross, come back and cross, come back and cross, come back and cross? Or do you cross every stitch because you're working with an over-dyed floss? I found out something interesting about myself. I thought that I had a hard and fast rule about that. I found out that I don't. I found out that it very much for me depends on what the floss is. Because I found that with this Gloriana, the color changes are more tonal, and they're very long color runs. They don't change color very quickly. It happens very in a long pattern and gradually. So I'm able to do, go, right, cross, 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 for maybe like 5 to 7 to 10 stitches. However, on the other hand, this Valdani floss, the colors transition so stinking quickly. Like, we're talking, you're crossing like this one especially. I mean, look at how quickly those colors transition. You could be crossing your one stitch and you're already at a color change. So I found with these Valdani floss, I can't do that. So just wondering what you guys if you have a hard and fast rule, if you go with the flow, what's your mojo? What's your system like? Let me know in the comments. All right, guys. Well, it's my 50th birthday weekend. So like I said, my sisters and my mom are taking me to do something fun this afternoon. And then tomorrow, my family's taking me. We've got a table reserved for 25 people. We're all going to meet at our local pub and have some dinner. My mom and my sisters are making me a cake for tomorrow. So, going to be 50. Woohoo! That's going to be fun. Got my flight arranged for my next retreat, which is coming up in Hillsboro, Texas on the end of February, so I'm excited about that. I'm glad that I have my travel arrangements made. It makes me feel more secure. It's my favorite retreat that I go to. It's a no frills retreat, so it's very low key, very relaxed. It's kind of a country setting. They have full-time, well, not full-time, they come for meal times, but they have in-house chefs or cooks that make everything fresh and really good food. It's a really nice place. So I'm excited about that. And that's about it. That's about it. I got to finish up my craft room. That's about all. So thanks for hanging out with me. And I'm glad you came back if you did. And I hope to see you guys on my next video. Oh, I know what else. For those of you who are my diamond painty friends that might be watching this to the end, I do have 2 orders from Dreamer Designs coming. One's coming today, one's coming Tuesday. So hopefully I can get one of those videos out today. Hopefully, if UPS hurries their butts up. So, all right, great. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye, everyone.